to order Woodstock's plan. Oh, do we have it recording? We good. So I'm going to call to order Woodstock's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for May 20th, 2021. I got 7:33 p.m. And I'm going to go through the roll call. Even though I can see you guys, we'll still do the roll call so we have it recorded. Just let me know that you're here. Joe Adaletta?
Here.
Mark Blackmer told me he's not able to attend tonight. Sid Blodgett.
Here.
Gail Dickinson.
Here.
Nancy Frazier.
Here.
Jeff Gordon, I'm here. Dean Gould.
Here.
Jeff Marcotte.
Here.
David Morse, were you able to connect? I don't see him yet. Okay. Doug Porter.
Here.
Dwight Reinowitz.
Here.
And Tim Young.
Here.
All right, excellent. So I'll note for the record that we do have a quorum. And then that takes us to Commissioner Marcotte's favorite part of the meeting, which is the Pledge of Allegiance, which it will. I'll bring the flag out. There we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to get to...
My pleasure.
And I'll just note that David Morse is here. I just saw him connect in. Welcome, David.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
No problem. That takes us to our meeting rules and guidelines. I know commissioners have heard this every meeting, but I'll say it again, especially for any members of the public who aren't aware. I ask that you keep yourselves on mute so we don't get background noise. If/when you're recognized to speak, then certainly, you can unmute yourself. Please state your name for the record so that way we know who is speaking. This is being recorded. Just not audio, but the visual as well. Anybody who wants to see the live transcript, there's a red button at the top left of Zoom that says live, and you can click it and it will do some sort of live transcript for you in case you want to do that. We are meeting according to the governor's executive orders as far as meeting for tonight's meeting in a virtual manner. However, other than those remaining provisions of governor's executive orders that apply to our process, all other processes and state statutes are applicable and in force. If you do wish to unmute yourself, then there's the mute unmute button on Zoom. If you're by phone, then I think it's *9 to unmute yourself. Otherwise, does anyone have any questions about our meeting rules and guidelines? Okay. As far as designation of alternates, I'm just going to count to make certain I got the right count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need one alternate. I've been right now going in alphabetical order. So the next person in alphabetical order is Doug Porter, if you wish to accept the honor. So I will note for the meeting that Doug Porter is seated, and in the usual fashion, alternates who get seated on Friday nights host the commission at a party to be determined. I have a few items for chair's report to let you know about, so just bear with me for a minute. First of all, my usual thank yous to all commissioners for the work that we're doing with our meetings every month, actually more than one meeting every month. And my usual thank yous to the staff for the work that gets done, not just at meetings, but all the work that gets done in between meetings. So we continue to appreciate that and thank you. One thing I do want to note is that we did have a vacancy in the alternate seat because Nancy Frazier last month was voted to move from alternate to full member. And today, the Board of Selectmen appointed Dean Gould to take the alternate seat and to fill the remainder of the term until, I got to look at my own certificate here, November 21st, 2023. So we welcome you, Dean, as an alternate member. And I thank our first Selectman Jay Swan and the entire Board of Selectmen for taking care of that matter for us today. Thank you. One other item that we need to do is we would need a motion to add a new agenda item. We have a public hearing tonight listed as agenda item 8A. We'd actually do under old business need to list that same item, not as a public hearing, but the entirety of the same item as old business. So that way, if we were to close the public hearing tonight, that we would then be allowed to pivot to that as old business. So I would need a motion to add that as agenda item 9.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we move item number 648-04-32, 115 Center Cemetery Road to old business.
Second
What we will
that.
do is we still have the public hearing. We're just gonna recreate it as a old business item. So if you're fine with that, Gail, then do we have a second?
Yep, I'm fine.
Who seconded?
I did. Dave Morse.
Dave Morse, okay. Let me just write this down here in the voting record. So motion made by Gail Dickinson, seconded by David Morse to create a new agenda item as 9, which is basically going to be 6480432-115 Center Cemetery Road. I won't read the rest of that, but it'll be all verbatim. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta.
Aye.
Sid Blodgett.
Aye.
Gail Dickinson.
Aye.
Nancy Frazier.
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte.
Aye.
David Morse.
Aye.
Doug Porter.
Aye.
Dwight Reinowitz.
Aye.
And Tim Young.
Aye.
I take it that passes unanimously, so we'll note that now for the record that we have that on the agenda. Thank you. One other item I want to bring to people's attention is, I believe this was in the meeting packets, but Delia did print up new bound copies of the current regulations. We had some single sheets of paper that were in the regulations when we made some prior changes, but we never reprinted the entirety in one bound volume. So Delia has done that. Thank you, Delia. And she boldly chose the nice color of, I don't know what this color is, Delia. Light purple, something like that. So we have a new color for the for it. So we will enjoy that. So thank you. And that reminds me, Delia, Tina, we'll need to get various of these regulations and documents to Dean, so he can have them for his own copy. And we can get you Dean's contact information and get stuff to him. The other is, this is an enjoyable part of the meeting that I get to report, is we actually have some Lifetime Achievement Awards, and these will be mailed out, but they came to me, I guess. So I want to congratulate Sid Blodgett. You got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And I will get that to you. It's unframed, and we will note that actually Fred Rich did get one. He is no longer on the commission, but he did get one. So I will send that to him. And actually, I didn't realize, I had forgotten about this. I got one too. So I guess I nominated myself. It's for at least serving 12 years continuous on the commission. If you serve, I think 20 or 25, you get a Lifetime Achievement Award. So we'll keep track of anybody other than Dexter who's gotten that award for the commission. But I will I will get those out. I'll get that to you, Sid. So, the other is that I want to mention that we are heading into a time where we do need to start thinking about what we're going to be doing with in-person meetings. I know some various boards and commissions have been looking to do that or are doing it. I just wanted to mention that to the commission. Also, there would be provisions that if a commissioner feels that he or she doesn't feel comfortable attending in the current climate right now, we could look into what to do from a hybrid point of view. But we are looking into what to do with regards to beginning to pivot back to in-person meetings. And I've had some discussions with Crystal about this today. And we'll be letting you guys know more about that as we start rolling that out. We do meet when we meet in person, as we know, in the big meeting room. So there would be space to space us out. But as we know, the CDC rules are changing, and the state is in the process of looking to be changing some of its rules and requirements and limitations. So I bring that up. The other is that just so that we're aware on the record, a number of the governor's executive orders that pertain to planning and zoning commissions have been extended. I know Attorney Roberts is on the meeting. Rich, what is the date that that's been extended to now?
June 30th.
June 30th. Whether or not things will happen after June 30th with some of these orders, or the legislature will codify into law some of these executive orders, is to be determined. The session is still ongoing, and it's kind of the wild time of the session where tons of things are happening day and night. So we'll see what the legislature does in that regard. And last but not least, speaking of the legislature, there's at least 13 bills before the legislature that have worked their way through committees that do have major ramifications on municipal zoning. And in fact, the House today passed HB 6107, one of the major zoning reform bills that would put some new limits into what a zoning commission can do with regards to holding certain public hearings and making certain decisions on certain types of items. And it also would start to require more in the way of housing plans and to actually attend to certain compliance factors that the state would set up, including a 13-person working group that the state would then create to come up with certain mandates that towns and cities would have to follow for various types of developments that the towns wouldn't have much say in. It would be more mandates that would come down. The Senate hasn't yet voted on this, but it's likely it's going to pass the Senate. But that just happened today, so I wanted to let you know about that. And then certainly anything that passes the legislature, I'm sure we'll get all the details of to see how that actually affects the work we do. And one of the aspects of HB 6107 is that it would then prohibit towns from using anything, quote unquote, character of a town to be making any decisions. It would, in a sense, forbid that type of decision making and use other types of requirements. So there would be a number of things. And if towns don't change their zoning regulations by a certain effective date, then these provisions still are in force, would be in force. So we'll keep you updated on that as we learn more about that. That takes us to citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments not on anything that is listed on the agenda? Okay, that takes us to meeting minutes that we have here. What is the pleasure of the commission with regards to our meeting minutes from April 15th, 2021?
A move to accept the minutes as presented.
Okay.
Second,
And is there a second?
second,
Okay, so motion by Joe Adaletta, seconded by Gail Dickinson to accept as presented the April 15th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will go through the roll. Joe Adaletta,
Aye.
Sid Blodgett,
Aye.
Gail Dickinson,
aye.
Nancy Frazier,
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte,
Aye.
David Morse.
Aye.
Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Doug Porter
Aye.
and Timothy Young.
Aye.
I take it that so passes. And thank you, Cindy, for doing our meeting minutes once again. So I will note that for the record. This takes us then to agenda item 7A, which I believe, if I'm correct, Delia or Tina, there was a request that came in today to remove this from the agenda, if I'm correct.
Yes, Jeff, that is correct.
So we will note for the record that agenda item 7A has been withdrawn on, well, it's not the applicant, but on Mr. Gronbach's request. So that has been removed.
Was there any reason given for the request to withdraw?
Evidently, I believe this wouldn't have made the any of the meeting packets. This literally came in this afternoon. I believe it was because he's going with a different property.
Yes, that's correct. He's not purchasing this property. He found something better suited for his business.
Got it. Thank you.
That takes us then very quickly to agenda item 7B, which is preliminary discussion, Route 198. This is map 5079, block 2, lots 3B and B. It's a preliminary discussion about potentially modifying a special permit from daycare to fitness facility. I will remind everybody, I know commissioners know this, but I will remind everybody else that preliminary discussion, we don't take votes. It is non-binding. And certainly anything that then follows with an application, the commission will follow its usual processes, depending upon what type of application forward. Since it's not an application, we'll note that. I knew, well, it's not really an applicant, but I know we have Lisa, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Labadia.
All right. Thank you for coming tonight. Again, we welcome the opportunity for you to discuss with us whatever plans you're thinking of, and certainly any questions that you have of us or staff here tonight, we're happy to go accordingly. But if there's anything you wish to present to us about what it is you're thinking of wanting to do, certainly by all means, you have the floor.
Okay, so we're looking at the existing, site plan, and instead of the daycare, we'd like to put some sort of training facility / gym for, possibly leagues or training of small groups of, for different types of athletics, like, basketball, lacrosse, field hockey and such. But it would fit within the existing building using the play area and also the front circle area. So, I actually spoke to Bruce, who actually did the original drawings, and we're thinking that we'd be able to put something there without disturbing the whole silt fence, and sort of use what was already approved years ago. That's pretty much it.
Okay, and we'll note for the record, I guess the original special permit is back from October 2006, and there were 2 conditions that were on that approval at the time. Do you have any particular questions for the commission? Otherwise, certainly I can open it for if the commission has any questions.
That's pretty much all I had.
Okay. I'll open up if any commissioners have any questions.
Jeff, I just want to confirm that the drawings that we have for Lisa Beaupre are coincidental to Lisa Labadia.
Oh, if you're asking if they're the same person?
And it's that information that was in the packet? No, just to make sure that the packet, the information in the packet that refers to Lisa Beaupre is what we're talking about for Lisa Labadia.
Yes,
And
I think
see
that's correct.
Yeah, Tina, do you want to answer that?
Yes, that is
Oh.
the property that this applicant is coming before you to determine if it's possible for them to modify this special permit and apply in the future. She hasn't purchased the property yet. She just wanted to get an idea if this would be possible.
Okay.
Thank
That
you.
answered your question, Joe?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thanks.
Was there any other commissioners had any questions?
I do. David Morse. I noticed when I was reading through the special permit, there are a lot of issues on traffic and parking. And seems like this is going to be a much more densely populated with many more cars than a daycare operation. I wondered if there were considerations being made for more parking.
Oh,
Lisa, if you'd like to answer that, I'll recognize you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, whatever the zoning would, provide for the amount of whatever the building would hold and how many parking spaces we would need is obviously would be accommodated, provided that, we don't, this isn't meant to be hundreds of people going through. I mean, I don't know how many kids were going to be in the daycare, but this is more for small groups, small leagues, that kind of thing. So I know it's a big lot, so I'm assuming that there should be, room for actually excess parking.
Anything from other commissioners? Joe?
Yes, just to follow up on that, Lisa, do you have any anticipation of what the size requirement, how many members might come at a time? 10 or
so-
15?
Just wait a second, Lisa. I just
Yep.
want to make certain we got all of your question, Joe.
Yes, thank you, Joe.
Okay, all right. Lisa, go ahead.
So my hope is this. I know the east, that corner does not have a lot of provisions for gym space for the kids, and being a parent of kids that are all, actively involved in sports. It was, I'm working with someone actually out in Brooklyn who does small groups with kids, works at does some groups at the Y. So, I mean, our hope would be to have, a gym, possibly 2, and then, open it up to small group trainings of 4 to 6 kids, maybe a games, maybe a shootout, different activities, all, based around, pretty much, geared around sports. So, I mean, I don't want hundreds in there at a time, if that's what you're asking. I want to sort of taper it to the small groups of, sporting, activities.
Okay, so thank you. That helps because I thought this was more like a typical fitness gym that adults would go to, but it's sounding more like a fitness gym to help build strength in school-aged athletes.
Absolutely. So I live out on the shoreline, and my daughter actually competes has competed worldwide for like CrossFit and things like that. And so she actually trains young athletes. And then I have another person who is interested in training, basketball players, but again, small groups. But it's not to say that we could have, leagues and things in there. Not, obviously there's not going to be, it's not 10 gyms. It might be 1 or 2. So, a typical basketball game, there's 10 kids on each side, and then maybe, a few adults and things like that. So want to try to keep it more academy style training, and, possibly just, smaller groups, working out and things like that, but not like a fitness gym where people are not that, but more of a training facility versus like a gym where people are having memberships. Like, I'm not looking to have memberships for this type of thing.
Okay.
And I also
Thank-
wanted to, a basketball courts, and we were also looking into possibly pickleball courts for adults. So it would be incorporating, possibly adults during the day and then kids as an after school thing. And, it's not our intention to keep this open later than, 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night.
So the modification, if I can talk to Tina about the modification of a special permit, would that have to go through a more detailed special permit review and more of a business plan for what this modification will entail?
So as she
Just so Lisa
indicated
knows what
earlier-
to expect.
Sure. Yes, she is already speaking with Bruce Woodis at KWP to put something together and understands, the requirements and the public hearing that would be required. And, there is a process. I did speak with her about that.
As a matter of fact, I did,
Okay.
touch base with
One
Bruce
second,
today
Lisa.
and
Oh, well,
with the, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I just want to make sure, just wait to be recognized because I'm trying to make certain we're with some others, but go ahead if you had something you wanted to reply.
Yes, so I already have been speaking with Bruce. There's a silt fence. There's definitely some, a brook running through there. So all the wetlands would be preserved and things like that. And he, there is definitely room to fit what type of building we are looking to. So we've already been in touch and he doesn't foresee any problems. It's basically going to be the same exact thing that we have there with using the play area. And like I said, the circle that they have, if you have a copy of that drawing, all just to be incorporated in one building. Other than that, it's pretty much staying the same.
Sid, you had a question?
Tina, in this situation, if neither the applicant nor the commission brings up the conditions of approval, do they automatically go away under this new application, or do they get carried forth from the current application to the new application and approval?
Well, you're modifying what's already on the record, so it would be, modifying into something different. So, it's a new, I mean, a similar use, but it's a new use. So I don't believe the conditions would apply that you had placed on the other business.
Okay, so I'm sorry, so you think these two conditions would go away, in other words?
What conditions?
There are two conditions, Tina, and I know and I think from what Sid is saying, it would be very important that we bring those up on the record during the application, because one condition is, this is from October 2006. There's one that says no children are permitted to enter the driveway of the facility unescorted by an adult. And the other one says hours of operation will be limited to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Are those the ones you're referring to, Sid?
It is, and I just wanted to make sure the applicant is aware of those, because 6 to 6, it sounds like she might want to go a little bit later. I'm also guessing that with the Beaupre approval, we were talking Monday through Friday, but this doesn't specify that. The current applicant may want to include weekends. And as far as the first condition, Lisa Beaupre's children, I think, were considerably younger than the current applicant's children. So she may want to define whether a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old can walk through the driveway by themselves, which seems like a normal thing most kids can handle.
Yes, I'm sure you would have, slightly different conditions with this type of application.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else from commissioners? Okay, do you have anything else?
One thing, Jeff, Dave
Oh,
Morse,
go ahead.
does this involve building a new building or taking down what's there, or are you just using what's there?
Lisa, did you want to answer that?
Oh, there's nothing there right now. It's just raw land.
Oh, it
Nothing
was never
ever
built.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was built. So there's no building there at all right now.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And as far as the children, I am all about safety. I actually run theater camps and these sports things. And I would definitely err on the side of caution with the ages of the kids that would be able to walk through there. Of course, as you know, sports are big for kids on the weekends and after school. So, if 6 was, I like I said, I wouldn't want to be there past 7:30 or 8, but I think 6 might be a little bit early. And of course, weekends are going to be a big thing when kids can train because they're at school all day, so.
Did you have any other questions for the commission, Lisa, or did we answer what you wanted to discuss with us tonight?
Oh, nope. I think I'm good. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming tonight. If there's nothing else from commissioners, then we'll move accordingly. And then it looks like at some point we'll receive an application, and then we'll.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Mr. Chair, I just have one question before we finish this topic.
Yeah, sure, Gail.
If none of the improvements were ever completed on the special permit,
Mhm.
and that was 15 years ago, does that constitute an abandonment of the property in terms of the special permit? And should this actually be an application for a new special permit instead of a modification?
We could ask Attorney Roberts and put him on the spot and see if he thinks what happens in general with that. I honestly don't know in that regard here.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I guess the short answer is that special permits run with the land and don't expire unless your regulations provide that they expire. And abandonment has recently been read or interpreted a lot more strictly to require that the property owner do something that essentially prevents the use from occurring any longer on the property in order to find that it has been abandoned. So, whether you treat it as an amendment to an existing special permit or a new one, you probably end up in the same place in terms of having to have a public hearing and imposing whatever conditions you want, as long as the use is still permitted in the zone.
Thank you, Rich. Was there anything else from commissioners on this? Okay. Well, thank you, Lisa, for coming tonight.
Thank you. Bye now.
The next item is agenda item 8A. This is a public hearing and so we've met the 7:45 time at least. This is 6480432 115 Center Cemetery Road. This is a new activity on a scenic road. I'm gonna go through a few items that we need to make certain we get in the record. Just to remind people, this is a public hearing. So if for commissioners, for members of the public, certainly the applicant, if there's anything you wish to bring forward about this, questions or comments, it is done during the public hearing. Once the commission closes the public hearing, only the commission then gets to discuss and deliberate. So keep that in mind. We do give leeway to the applicants to have time to be able to present and discuss the application. Any members of the public who wish to be recognized, we would give you for the first time speaking 5 minutes. You'd be recognized for a second time to speak if it is something new you wish to speak about. If it's the same thing you've already spoken on, we'll rule that out of order, and second time speaking would have 2 minutes to speak. If anybody has anything that they wish to actually present to the commission that's in written form, we would not be able to distribute that to the commission and have it available to the public tonight. But if there is anything with that, then let us know, because we'll need to make certain we get that received appropriately. I will mention a couple things for the record, which is we are acting under the town ordinance, which is an ordinance concerning the designation of scenic roads, specifically section 4, subsection A, which is an activity on a scenic road. And that's where our authority comes from to hold the public hearing, and we're required to hold the public hearing. Otherwise, we follow all the provisions of a public hearing that are in state statute, especially 8-26E, in case anybody wants to know. A few items here would be documents for the public hearing. The ones I have are the application. We have a copy of the town ordinance. We have, we'll note for the record that we have the P&Z legal notices that went out regarding the public hearing. We'll note for the record that the P&Z's decision at its April 15th meeting to schedule this public hearing is so noted. We have a letter from Delia Fay that went to owners of lot frontage abutting Center Cemetery Road. I believe that's April 26th. We have a memo from Delia Fay dated April 13th. We have some correspondence in email form from John Navarro in his capacity as the town highway department foreman, April 5th. We have, I have a copy of this, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tina, this was also, is this also in the meeting packet, an application regarding the actual driveway paving and I think replying a reply from Fair Lane Path LLC, which is lot 20-5, map 5128, block 25, regarding some of the parcel that's being affected here. I think that was in the meeting packet, if I remember.
Yes, it should be in the meeting packet.
Yep. Otherwise, a few other things then for the record here is, we do have the notifications that went out into the newspaper. We'll note that for the record. We had one that went into the Woodstock Villager on May 7th and the other one from May 14th. So those meet the requirements per state statute. And I know the answers to this, but I'm going to state it for the record because it's a public hearing. Delia or Tina, the Board of Selectmen were notified as required by the ordinance.
Yes, Delia did that.
And Delia, I know the Town Highway Department was notified as according to the town ordinance, correct?
Yes, and he responded if you wanted to mention that.
I did already. Thank you.
Okay.
And we have the owners of lot frontage abutting Center Cemetery Road were notified, Delia? You sent out the notifications?
I wrote it up and the town sent it out.
Okay, good.
Yes, we did send it out. Yes, we have verification in the file.
And a sign that was posted stating the public hearing?
Yes, that
Yes.
was verified.
Okay, good. And then I'll just note for the timeline, just in case it were to matter. We received this application and we have 65 days within which to start the public hearing. We've met that. We have a base of 35 days to complete the public hearing and then 65 days afterwards to render a decision. And there's 65 extra days allowed per state statute to apply to any of these parts, but you can't exceed a total of 65 extra days. And then I think if I'm correct, Attorney Roberts, we still have some of the provision of the governor's executive order for additional days, if that still applies right now.
Yes, but I don't know if it applies to the scenic road ordinance.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it really did or didn't. I don't think they really were thinking of that per se.
It probably does not.
And then I know the answer to this anyway, but I'll ask these two questions. Delia, Tina, the fees are paid that are required,
Yes, the fees are paid.
and it's a complete application.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. That way we have that all on the record during the public hearing. So what I will do is I'll ask for staff. I guess Delia, you reviewed this from your viewpoint, anything from staff perspective. I know we do have your memo that had come out earlier about April 13th, I believe. But if there's anything you want to say from a staff perspective, Delia?
I don't actually have that memo in front of me, but I don't recall there being anything remaining. The
Okay.
issue of the abutter has been addressed because they've consented, so that's no longer an issue.
Good. I'll open this up for right now for the applicant or the applicant's representatives. You're not required to say anything. It is an opportunity if you wish to do so. Certainly, if you choose not to do so right now, you have an opportunity during the remainder of this public hearing. So don't feel you're on the spot. I just wanted to recognize you if there's anything you wish to say. If you could just state your name for the record about whether there's anything you wish to say or not.
Say your name.
Teresa Goulet.
Danielle Hersink.
Well, thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. We just would like to tell, thank you for Delia and for Tina for all their support and help in this whole process. They've been very helpful.
Yep.
So we're just hoping we can get approved.
I'll open it up to commissioners. I'll reserve my questions for the end, but anything from commissioners as far as any questions, comments during the public hearing?
If I may, Jeff, just a quick question to Delia. The agreement that was reached with the neighbor about paving part of their section of the driveway, is that verbal or is there a written agreement somewhere?
Well, they signed a consent form indicating that they're granting consent for the applicant to pave the driveway partially, which, I mean, part of the driveway crosses onto their land.
Is that the document that in the packet, property owner's written consent form
Yes.
that reflects? Okay. Thank you.
And actually, I'll ask my question right now because you brought that document up. I have one question. When this property owner's written consent form was signed, it looks like it was one of the items was crossed off that says the undersigned swears that the information supplied in the completed application is accurate to the best of his or her knowledge and belief. Is this was this crossed off by this Krista Kaiser? Because she's not the actual applicant, she's just the landowner or represents Fairlane Path LLC. Do you know, Tina, if that's the case?
Kristen Kaiser is on this Zoom meeting, so she could answer that, but I did not ask her that question, but I'm sure she could respond to that.
If you're on.
Is she on mute?
Yeah, she's on mute. If you wanted to answer that question, I'm just interested why part of the.
This is Kristen Kaiser. I
Just
crossed
one-
that off because I
Just
cannot
one
verify
second,
to
Mrs.
the.
Kaiser, just one quick second. I just wanted to finish just saying that I just wanted to make certain it was on the record why it was crossed off, so that way we have it in the public hearing. But please go ahead now.
You interpreted it correctly. I crossed it off because I couldn't verify the veracity of the application because I'm not the applicant.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to make certain that's clear for the public record why something was crossed off on an application. Do we have anything from other commissioners? Sid?
For the owner of the driveway, when it rains, does the water currently wash down out into the road? And have that, if so, or whether it doesn't, is that going to be changed at all once it's paved?
If the applicant wishes, just please state your name and if you wish to answer.
Goulet. Right now, it just runs down the side and there are two areas to the right and to the left of our driveway where it drains into, but it shouldn't affect anything at all.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else from commissioners? Yes, Nancy?
I have a quick question. Delia, I'm wondering if you could just answer really quickly. How much of a portion of the abutter's land does this cross over? Do you know?
I didn't measure that, but it's on the plan. I think I gave everybody a copy of it last month.
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have mine either.
I don't have it full scale anyway, because it was from the land records and I only have a digital copy of it. So I don't have a way to measure it.
Okay.
It's not a very big portion.
Okay. All right. My only thought, and maybe this isn't even a consideration that we need to worry about, but what happens if the abutter then sells the land and the new owner doesn't consent? Is this something that the applicant and the current landowner should maybe consider making a formal declaration of a right of way or an easement or something to that effect that would then be placed on the land records and clear that up so this wouldn't be an issue with future landowners?
It's a common driveway, so and it's been a very long time since the subdivision was approved, so I don't have it off the top of my head. But generally speaking, in Woodstock, common driveways have required agreements like that, so I'm not sure if there already is an agreement.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. All right. Thank you.
One thing I just want to mention is, John Navarro did reply back saying he didn't seem to have any issues. And he said that the culvert pipe is fairly new and is working properly. So it sounds like he was fine with whatever issue relative to this driveway, and then the request for why we're here tonight. Is there anything else from commissioners? Okay. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak or ask a question only on this agenda item during the public hearing? Let me just take a look. I have to scroll through two screens here. Okay. If there isn't anything further from the commission, the action of the commission would be to close the public hearing if the commission so wishes.
Move to close the public hearing.
Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Who seconded that? Was that you, Sid?
It's me, Sid.
So motion by Jeff Marcotte, seconded by Sid Blodgett to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none. I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta,
Aye.
Sid Blodgett,
Aye.
Gail Dickinson,
Aye.
Nancy Frazier,
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte,
Aye.
David Morse,
Aye.
Doug Porter,
Aye.
and Timothy Young.
Aye.
I will take that without objection that so passes. The public hearing is closed. We will pivot back to this as agenda item 9A.
Done? Are you done?
This out. The next item takes us to 9A, which is a non-residential zoning permit. This is at 1129 Route 169, construction of two 16-foot by 20-foot open pavilions on slab. Anything from either, I don't know who, was it you, Tina, that reviewed this? Anything from your point of view, from a staff point of view? It looks like it's a completed application and fees are paid.
Yes, that is correct. It's, he applied on the regular zoning application that comes before you because it's a non-residential property. It appears to meet the regulations as far as setbacks with 40 feet, a minimum of 40 feet for the side and beyond the 60-foot minimum for the front. So you have, I think each the packet had the site plan attached. So if anyone has any questions,
I'll just
John.
open it up if John Baker, welcome to the meeting. If there's anything you wish to speak on your application, you're not required to, but you're welcome to if you so wish. Just have to unmute yourself.
Okay, there I am. Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm the owner of Northwood Childcare, where this is located, or I'd like to be located. I'll just be brief so I can answer more questions if there are any. These are two pavilions, about half the size of the pavilion, the outdoor eating pavilion at Sweet Evelina's. So they're 16 by 20 each, and they're intended for outdoor use for kind of outdoor classrooms. Just some added space so we can get the kids outdoors a little bit more. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is there any comments or questions from commissioners? If not, what's the will of the commission?
Move to accept the application as presented.
Second.
I heard multiple people say second. Who was, who?
Tim
Second.
Young.
Okay. I'll mark that down. So motion by Joe Adaletta, seconded by Tim Young to approve the application as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta.
Aye.
Sid Blodgett.
Aye.
Gail Dickinson.
Aye.
Nancy Frazier.
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte.
Aye.
David Morse.
Aye.
Doug Porter.
Aye.
And last but not least, Timothy Young. Just got to unmute yourself, Tim.
Aye.
That so passes. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
The next item is we have some new business items here. We have agenda item 10A. This is 6470331, approximately 650 English Neighborhood Road. This is the ongoing 3-lot subdivision that I believe is still incomplete because we're still waiting for required documents, I believe. Is that correct, Delia? And there's
Yes.
been a request for an extension to our June 17th meeting. I think actually we don't need technically additional extension time right now. I think this is still within the 65 days if we were to extend, if we were to table this to June 17th, when I looked at the math, Delia. Unless you have looked at it and come up with something different.
I didn't look at the deadline, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I thought the receipt date of this was April 15th, which would mean June 19th is the 65th day, and our next meeting on business is June 17th. So we actually could still, within our own purview, without any additional time, extend it, although we do have the request to move this to the June 17th meeting. So really our action would be to, unless there's any discussion, our action would be to move it to the June 7th, table it to the June 17th meeting. Is there a motion or any questions about it?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we move it to the June 17th meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Who was that who seconded it?
Tim Young.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion on the table? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta,
Aye.
Sid Blodgett,
Aye.
Gail Dickinson,
Aye.
Nancy Frazier,
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte,
Aye.
David Morse,
Aye.
Doug Porter,
Aye.
and Timothy Young.
Aye.
I take it so passes. Delia, you'll let them know?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll also have to remind them that as time ticks along, we will be facing a deadline at some point to have to deal with this matter. The next item is agenda item 10B. This is 6490533 Dividend Road, map 5130, block 30, lot 3. Convert a lot into a building lot. Delia, you had reviewed this.
Yes.
And I'll ask the usual questions I ask. Is this a complete application?
They are waiting for the health department approval. And separate from this, I am waiting to find out to see whether they need an activity on a scenic road for the paving the driveway. That's, would be separate though, it would be a separate application.
Okay.
And then I believe the other things have been, I believe the notices were done. I just don't see them in the packet. And the erosion and sediment control bond, I have not seen that yet. And the health department approval, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. So it's not complete yet. Okay. And fees have been paid?
Yes, fees have been paid.
Okay.
Looking through the file right now, I do see approval to construct from the health department dated April 25th.
We don't have.
I do see.
I don't think. Okay. Otherwise, Delia, this is a, to actually convert a lot into an actual building lot. Okay. Yep. I just wanted to make certain we know which provision we're acting under then. So, okay. So, but right now.
Sorry, can I correct that? That I said it was approval to construct, but it's not the approval to construct. I apologize.
Okay.
Misunderstood.
So Delia, then, from staff point of view, we haven't received anything final from NDDH and we don't have an E&S control bond?
That's correct.
Okay. And then you said if you can just clarify that for the commission, you said you're looking into whether it needs an activity on a scenic road application. Can you
Yes,
just
the
explain why?
site plans indicate the driveway will be paved. And normally that extends out to the road. I don't see a detail on there where the paving will start, but paving is one of the activities that's regulated by the scenic road ordinance. So that would need an activity on a scenic road application. That would be a separate application though, separate from the subdivision.
Okay. So it sounds like then from your point of view, Delia, we've taken this up tonight, but there's some items pending that we can't finalize anything tonight on. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, I just want to make certain I was understanding. Is the applicant or the applicant's representative here?
yes.
we are.
Okay, who, if you can, I don't know who wishes to speak or present on this, if you could identify yourself to me and state your name.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman. This is Daniel Blanchette with J&D Civil Engineers.
Thanks for being here tonight. Is there anything you wish to discuss about the application?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So the only other thing I guess I'd like to add, I'll just a little bit of background. This was considered, this property is about 13 acres. It was classified as remaining land in a subdivision from 1992. And my applicants are hoping to build a single family home on it. The only other thing I believe, we don't have our wetlands approval yet. We are going through the process with the Wetlands Commission. And we do not have their approval yet. I expect it next month. And so I believe that the commission cannot act at this meeting. We're just hoping that you will accept our application.
Okay. Well, it's one thing to accept an application which we've technically received already, but we just have to note it's incomplete for the record and be aware of the statutory deadlines we face. And also our own deadlines, and Delia can let you know, or Tina know about that. We have particular deadlines before meetings to receive documents and what we have to do in that regard. So if you could work with them in that regard, that would be helpful for us. Was there anything further you wish to present on this? Otherwise, I'll open it up to any questions from commissioners.
No, sir.
Okay. Open up for Gail.
This is considered technically a re-subdivision. Does it need a public hearing?
This is not considered a re-subdivision. This would be considered a modification to an approved subdivision because no new lots are being created, no property lines are being changed, and so it would not be a re-subdivision.
Delia, you concur with that?
I think it's a subdivision because this parcel, I think of it kind of in a funny way. Think of making cookies. When you make cookies and you're done with it, you have a baked cookie ready to eat. Well, when you are in the process of making your cookies and you have leftover dough that does not go through the oven, it does not come out of the process as a cookie. So this is like the leftover dough from the last subdivision. This is not a buildable lot. So you have to go through subdivision to make this piece a legally buildable lot. So you are modifying the previous subdivision because this piece of what was that, larger parcel back in 1992, this piece didn't come out of that process as a buildable lot. So this piece has to go through the process to be legally considered a buildable lot. So it's not a re-subdivision because if this lot is approved, not tonight, but if this lot was approved as a subdivision lot and then it's divided again, that would be a re-subdivision.
Thank you, Delia. Anything else from commissioners? Yes, Sid.
Julia, do you know if the prior subdivision had any other statements included other than simply whatever was remaining land labeled?
Not that I know of. The minutes of that decision is included in your packet. And I'd have to shuffle through my papers to find it. But as far as I know, the previous approval had no further information on this parcel because it was not built. It's not buildable in terms of something wrong with it. It's not buildable because it's legally not approved as a building lot. There's nothing inherently wrong with the property.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, I had a question.
Sure, Joe.
Maybe for Daniel, relative to the process for NDDH approval, given the extent of the wetlands on this lot, is that part of the perk testing that's being challenged right now with finding an appropriate leaching area and septic issues?
Mr. Blanchett?
I'm sorry, could you restate your question, please?
Yes, the issue about NDDH waiting for approval, is that any way related to concern about the property itself with a lot of wetland on it and perhaps perk testing that is a little challenging, or has perk testing been done?
Yes, so test pits and perk tests have all been done. We did find, that the soils on site are suitable for a septic system. And unfortunately, the
Okay.
health department's been a little bit behind lately. But hopefully we'll have a totally approved design by the next meeting.
Sounds good.
And just a couple questions for you, Mr. Blanchett, or I guess Tina. Have abutters been notified according to the provisions of the subdivision regulations?
Just get the application. Yes, I have the receipts here in the file.
And they were notified within the appropriate time frame, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay, because I noticed that was listing as a pending matter on the application. And one other item I have, maybe I missed this, Mr. Blanchett, so I apologize if it's already been answered. On the application, it says it's pending stormwater plan, drainage calculations, and drainage existing and proposed. Was that all? Is that stuff that's been finalized, or we are going to get, or did I miss that somewhere?
So that's actually that was a question that the Wetlands Commission had at their previous meeting. They requested that I do some drainage analysis, and so that's in progress. I'll have that at the next meeting.
Okay, and you are correct. We can't do anything if we don't get some wording from inland wetlands. It would be a pending matter then for us. So is there anything else from commissioners? Okay, otherwise then our action would be to table this item to our June 17th meeting.
Move to table this to the June 17th meeting?
I'll second that.
Is that you, David?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta,
Aye.
Sid Blodgett,
Aye.
Gail Dickinson,
Aye.
Nancy Frazier,
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte,
Aye.
David Morse,
Aye.
Doug Porter,
Aye.
Timothy Young.
Aye.
That so passes. So again, just want to remind you, Mr. Blanchett, of the submission deadlines we have, which are usually 10 days before. That would be June 7th, if I got that correctly.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you for coming tonight. The next item is agenda item 10C. This is 6500534 1920 Route 198, map 5709, block 01, lot 18-1, two lots. This is actually listed as a 2-lot re-subdivision. I know the answers to these questions, but I'll ask them anyway, so we have it on the record. Delia, I believe you've looked at this.
Yes.
And this is a complete application?
This is a re-subdivision. I have not seen the ENS bond estimate or the health department approval. We need to have a statement about the family transfer and the proposed deed. And I need to see how the common driveway complies with the regulations.
Okay, and the fees have been paid? Tina?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Delia, but a re-subdivision per state statute requires a public hearing.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is both a re-subdivision requiring the public hearing, but it's also a family transfer, so it's exempt from open space.
But still requires the public hearing.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we'll be limited in what we can discuss tonight because we'll have to schedule a public hearing. But still, I will offer to, if the applicant or the applicant's representative is here, if there's anything that you wish to say. Otherwise, Doug?
Jeff,
Yes.
Doug Porter.
Yes,
I have a conflict on this, so I need to be excused, please, recused.
so I'll note you that you're recused then, Doug, for this agenda item. Okay, we will note that for the record. Is the applicant or the applicant's representative here?
Yes, hi, Daniel Blanchette again.
Well, welcome again, Mr. Blanchett. Again, we can't get into too much back and forth about this because we have to schedule a public hearing, but if there's anything that you wish to tell us about this, and then we'll go accordingly to schedule the public hearing.
Yeah, so again, my client, Robin Marinelli, she owns about 40 acres on Route 198, close to the Massachusetts line. And she wants to give about 5 acres to her son. The lot has been subdivided several other times, so it's a re-subdivision, but at this point, we're only proposing one new building lot for the owner's son.
Thank you. So at this point then, it would be, our public hearing would be on June 17th, would be the earliest. And we've been scheduling public hearings for 7:45 PM, unless we wish to do anything different. But what's the will of the commission? Or not?
I move we schedule this for public hearing at our June 17th meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Gail and Tim, you're okay with putting in the 7:45 PM time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta,
Aye.
Sid Blodgett,
Aye.
Gail Dickinson,
Aye.
Nancy Frazier,
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte,
Aye.
David Morse,
Aye.
and Tim Young.
Aye.
That so passes. So we'll note that, and as you already heard at the last agenda item, as far as our deadlines for receiving things, and you'll certainly be working with Delia and Tina. So we'll see on 2 different items next month, Mr. Blanchett.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
You too. This takes us then magically to agenda item 9A, which is actually 6480432. This is 115 Center Cemetery Road. Excuse me, new activity on a scenic road. This is not public hearing. This is post-public hearing deliberation and decision. We usually, when we start out our discussions, we will usually start out with a motion if we so wish.
I move we approve the activity on scenic road for application number 6480432, 115 Center Cemetery Road.
I
I'll
second.
that.
Second.
Who seconded? I heard.
I
no.
did. Dave Morse.
Okay, so a motion by Gail Dickinson, seconded by David Morse to approve this application as presented. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Okay, I'll go through the roll then. Joe Adaletta,
Aye.
Sid Blodgett,
Aye.
Gail Dickinson,
Aye.
Nancy Frazier,
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte,
Aye.
David Morse,
Aye.
Doug Porter,
Aye.
and Tim Young.
Aye.
That so passes. Congratulations. And Tina or Dale, you'll do whatever magic you do afterwards.
Yes.
This takes us to agenda item 12, A, B, and C, which is ZEO reports, office permits enforcement. So Tina, I'll let you run the show and dazzle us with your reports. I know we have the printed reports that we received in the packets.
So I emailed you the most current updated report from April 1st to May 17th. I also included some of the complaints that I'm currently working on. Ongoing things that take some time, as you can see. So if anybody has any questions.
Anything from commissioners?
Yes, just wanted to comment to Tina, since looking through some of the issues you're facing, if there are some interpretation challenges you're going through, the regulations versus the requirements or the complaints, just wanted to encourage you to bring anything to the commission to get input from the commission, if that would help at all in evaluating the complaints and actions needed to address the complaints.
Well, thank
Other
you
than
very
that,
much.
it looks like you're dealing with them very well, but I wanted to let you feel that you could come back to the commission for some additional discussion and potential guidance.
Yes, I think that will be my request in the upcoming meeting, referring to Buck's Ice Cream. I think depending on, what I receive from them, I may have to come back and ask for some guidance. I have been speaking with Attorney Roberts on the issue, but that seems to be the most, what's been with the season opening now, it's been the most challenging, I should say.
Did you have something, Sid?
Yeah, Tina, on the last page, under zoning complaints, number 6, Rogers Corporation floodlighting, say to be resolved. Is that meaning things are underway, or they really haven't gotten started yet with the corporation?
I have spoken with the director, the facilities director, and he was in the process of looking at that flood lighting that points out to the roadway and basically blinds people, going up into the Maybrook. So I had, had a conversation, and I need to go back by there in the evening just to see if anything has been done. So maybe Jeff could respond to that, since he seems to know the area well.
Well, it has come up just because they do have, strong floodlights to cover their parking lot, and it goes straight in when you're trying to, so it has been raised as an issue. So I'm not aware anything has happened, so I was leaving it up to the process.
Okay.
So I guess that is to be resolved.
Well, thank you for answering that. So I will follow up with him, because the last I heard, about 3 weeks ago, they were working on some kind of solution. So.
All right, good. Thank you.
Anything else from commissioners on the on any of the reports that Tina has? Thank you for putting the reports together, and it's all in color.
I'd like to add, Tina, that it's probably COVID's fault, because everything is, COVID causes a problem with everything. It's COVID.
It's got to be COVID. Let's hope we can move past COVID now.
They probably can't get replacement lights because of COVID.
Perhaps.
Jeff, I didn't know that we could blame COVID. I thought our policy was we just blame you for everything.
You might as well. Everybody else does. So I got big shoulders.
Anything else from commissioners? Okay. Thank you.
Gilson's wine.
Did you have something, Tim? I'm sorry.
No, just a comment for Mr. Marcotte, that's all.
Oh.
We have budget review and bills. We have our report from the treasurer where things stand with what we do with our budget. And also where we have the POCD money and anything that comes in relative to the legal line item. Unless anybody has any questions, and there are no bills for us to review or vote upon. That takes us to correspondence. I know I believe this went out by email. I believe Cindy, you sent this out. There was a request at the last meeting. I believe Joe, you had requested to see the maps for the fair where the proposed AT&T cell tower would go up. And I believe that all went out to everybody by email. So there's pictures.
Yes, and thank you for that. It wasn't quite where I thought it was going to be located based on the discussion, just the verbal discussion at the last meeting. So the map was very helpful. Thanks.
And then we have we usually get something from one of the towns over the border, and we received something from the town of Dudley about a notice of public hearing, which they've already held on May 5th. So about some item relative to whatever they were doing with their planning and zoning stuff. But we do get those notifications to let us know as a neighboring town or nearby town. We did get notification about, what is this here? This is, I don't know if you got this, Delia, or somebody did, from the listserv from Bruce Hyde from Yukon Clear, that there are some videos about climate resilience in Connecticut that people can log on to, and there's a link.
Yes, I shared that with you.
Yep, and one video is climate change in Connecticut was recently added. So it looks like they have a series of short 10 to 15-minute videos to learn about natural hazards, climate change, and their impacts in Connecticut, geared at providing information that is useful for decision-making at the local level. So we have that. We also have the quarterly newsletter from the Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies, which is always very interesting to read and to learn some of what goes on, including some of what goes on that we do a good job avoiding so we don't get ourselves in trouble. So, but I won't read through all of this, but we do get those. And so I think we keep these on file, Tina, the past ones.
Yes.
So we've had them for some years. So anybody who wants to go back and look at any prior ones, they're there, but that's there. We continue to sign up for a nominal fee to be a member, and it is actually very helpful to get that. I don't believe there's any other correspondence that I received or were aware of, unless I missed anything, Tina.
No, you didn't miss anything.
That takes us to agenda item 15, actually, which is listed as adjournment. At the last meeting, Commissioner Dickinson said she wanted the honor to be making motions. I don't know if that's still the case.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I was going to ask if Commissioner Young and Commissioner Dickinson fought it out about who would have the privilege, but
I've been in training, so.
Tim Lady should go first.
well, I can always get I put him on mute that he can't unmute himself for the next meeting if you want the honor. But I do have it under very good authority from, I won't name the names, but I think Commissioner Young knows who I'm talking about, that he's had good training and is out of his probationary period and can make motions to adjourn now. So,
but I think it's a Prospect Street job.
I believe it's a
motion.
Dairy farm job. I think it's a dairy farmer job.
Well, how about this?
Tim, I grew up a dairy farmer.
We be fair.
Everybody did. Everybody did.
We act in a Solomon-like way and try to split the baby in half. And one meeting, Commissioner Young can make the motion. The next meeting, Commissioner Dickinson can.
I'm quite comfortable with that.
So we have the motion by Young, seconded by Dickinson to adjourn the meeting. There's no discussion on adjournment to motion to adjourn other than in rare cases, which I won't evoke. I'll go through the roll. If you want to stay here all night, vote no. Otherwise, I'm assuming people will vote yes. Joe
Aye.
Allen. Sid Blodgett.
Aye.
Gail Dickinson.
Aye.
Nancy Frazier.
Aye.
Jeff Gordon. I will vote aye. Jeff Marcotte.
I'm confused. You mentioned that it's going to be Gail one month or 1 week, and it's going to be Tim the following week. Don't we need a motion on that?
I think that falls within, purview of Commissioners Young and Dickinson. But do you?
All right. In that case, I say aye. We adjourn.
David Morse.
Aye.
Doug Porter.
Aye.
And last but not least, Timothy Young. How do you vote?
Aye.
Without objection, I take that as a unanimous yes that we have adjourned at 8:52 p.m. Thank you, everybody. We'll catch you at our next meeting, which is the June 3rd.
Oh, third, sorry.
Yep. Stay safe and have a good Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Thanks, Jeff. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Night.
Bye.